Hello, welcome to this first computer class for adults, starting from zero and from the very basics, with the idea that you move forward step by step toward more complete topics, without complicating things and without feeling lost. If today you are just starting, that is perfectly fine. You do not need any experience here. We will go calmly and with simple examples. In this class, we are going to see something that may seem obvious, but it is the foundation of everything. How to turn on a computer, whether it is a desktop PC or a laptop. Many people get stuck here because of nerves or fear of touching something, so I will explain it in a simple way. On a desktop PC, you normally have a case, sometimes called a tower, which is the box that contains the internal components, and there you will find the power button. That button almost always has a very familiar symbol, like a circle with a line, and you can find it in different places, sometimes on the top, sometimes on the front, sometimes on the side, depending on the model, but the symbol is usually the same.
To turn it on, you simply press it once with your finger and release it. Do not hold it down, just one press, and that's it. If the computer is connected to power, it will start turning on.
On a laptop, it is very similar. You will also see that symbol or a dedicated button, sometimes above the keyboard, sometimes integrated into the keyboard, and on other models in a corner. In the same way, you press it once and release it, and the laptop will start. Something important. In this first class, we are not going to get into cables, connectors, or configurations yet. We will see that later calmly. Here, I want you to become familiar with the basics so you feel confident. So remember, power button, one press, and the computer begins to start. Now, after turning it on, what happens is that Windows will start, also known as the operating system. Windows is the system you see on the screen, and there are different versions. For example, Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, and currently Windows 11. Do not worry if yours is different. The idea is that you understand the concept, that the computer is loading the system so you can use it. You will see the logo appear on the screen along with a loading animation, and after a few moments, it will show you the desktop. The monitor is the screen of the PC, and on a laptop, the screen is already built in. That is an important difference. On a desktop PC, you usually need the case and a separate monitor, while on a laptop, everything comes together, which makes it more practical to move around. When it finishes starting, the desktop appears. And this is where many people feel confused for the first time, but relax, that is normal. On the desktop, you will see a bar at the bottom, and on that bar, there are very useful things. For example, on the bottom right, you will almost always see the time and the date. You will also see icons such as volume, network, or Wi-Fi, and on laptops, you will see a battery icon because it has an internal battery, like a phone. On a desktop PC, there is usually no internal battery. If you unplug it, it turns off, which is why many people use a power regulator or surge protector. On laptops, if you unplug the charger, the laptop continues working until the battery runs out, and the charger connects to a port, usually on one side. It can be a round hole or a specific connector depending on the model. Up to this point, I want you to keep this idea in mind. Turning on a computer means pressing the correct button once, waiting for the system to start, and reaching the desktop. And if you follow this series, you will see that everything becomes easier with practice. Now, before moving to the next part, think about this. Do you have a PC or a laptop, and where is the power button on your device? On the top, on the front, or on the keyboard? Have you already identified it?
Now that you have already turned it on and reached the desktop, let's get to know the most basic things you see on the screen and how you move around within the system. I want you to get used to locating the main elements, because that helps you lose fear. On the desktop, as I mentioned, at the bottom there is a bar that is very important. There you will see the Start button, the Program area, and on the right side the time, the date, and some icons such as Network, Sound, and on laptops the battery. The Start button is like the main door. That is where the programs and settings are, and later I will explain step by step what each thing is for. Something you should know is that if two computers have the same version of Windows, they will look similar, but if one is Windows 7 and another is Windows 10 or 11, the design changes. Do not worry if yours does not look exactly like the example. The important thing is to understand the idea that the Start menu opens the system options. Now let's move on to an essential tool for using the computer, the mouse. On desktop PCs, the mouse is used a lot, also known as a mouse. The mouse has two main buttons and a small wheel in the center called the scroll wheel. That wheel is used to scroll up and down on a page or document. You turn the wheel and the screen moves. The main button is usually the left one, and with that you click to select and open things. The right button is the secondary one, and with that you right-click to open options, and you will use that quite often. If you look closely, there is also a comfortable way to hold the mouse, with your hand on top, one finger on the left button and another on the right button, and with that you control the pointer. The pointer is the little arrow that moves on the screen, and you move it with the mouse to point at what you want. You can also drag. For example, you click and without releasing you move the mouse to move a file or to select items. Now, on laptops you usually do not need a mouse at the beginning because they come with a touchpad, which is the touch-sensitive area below the keyboard. That touchpad works like a mouse. You slide your finger and the pointer moves. The left side of the touchpad works as the main click, and the right side works as the right click. Some laptops also allow tapping with one finger to click and tapping with two fingers for other functions, but that depends on the model. The important thing is that you know you can use either a physical mouse or the touchpad, and both do the same thing. Move the pointer, click, and select. Now let's move on to the keyboard, which is another fundamental part. The keyboard is used to type, enter passwords, search, and do tasks. On a desktop PC keyboard, there is usually an extra section on the right with numbers. This is called the numeric keypad. On many laptops, that numeric keypad is not included, unless it is a larger laptop. But even if it is not there, the numbers are always at the top of the keyboard, and the order of the letters is very similar. You will see letters like Q, W, E, R, and so on, and that repeats on almost all keyboards. The large bar at the bottom is called the space bar and is used to create spaces when typing. There is a key to delete, usually called backspace or with an arrow, and the enter key is used to move to a new line or confirm. There is also a key that changes from lowercase to uppercase, sometimes called caps lock. On keyboards in English it may look different, but the function is the same. There are function keys like F1, F2, F3, and they are used for specific functions. Later I will explain the most useful ones. And there is also the Windows key, which when pressed opens the Start menu. Here I want you to keep something simple in mind. The mouse and keyboard are your basic tools to control the computer, and with practice you will feel faster. Now tell me, what feels easier to you, using a mouse or using the touchpad on a laptop? Welcome back to our session on computer basics. Today, we'll thoroughly review common computer accessories like the mouse and keyboard, which are the essential input devices, and discuss how they connect to your computer for everyday use. For handling audio needs, you'll frequently use speakers to play sounds loudly, headphones for personal listening without disturbing others, or a microphone to input your voice during phone calls and online classes. All these important accessories connect to your computer via various ports, which are the small openings typically located on the sides of laptops for easy access. Most laptops include a built-in microphone, recognizable by the small holes usually positioned near the keyboard or along the screen bezel, and a webcam positioned at the top edge of the screen, perfect for video calls. These convenient integrated features make communication straightforward and hassle-free, eliminating the immediate need for additional external devices. In contrast, for desktop computers, you will generally need to purchase a webcam and microphone as separate items to enable video and audio functions. Opting for these external devices provides greater flexibility in placement and often delivers superior audio and video quality tailored to your specific needs. Desktop computers feature a range of physical connection ports distributed across the front panel for quick access, the top for convenience, and the back for more permanent setups. Among these ports, USB ports are crucial for connecting USB drives, which serve as portable storage solutions for saving and transferring files, photos, documents, and more. You can also plug your keyboard, mouse, headphones, and microphone directly into these versatile ports to complete your setup. On laptops, the USB ports are conveniently situated on the sides, making it simple to connect an external mouse for better control. Many adults initially struggle with the laptop's touchpad for precise navigation, so adding an external mouse proves extremely helpful and improves overall comfort. desktop computers require a reliable, constant power connection, usually achieved by plugging the power cable directly into a standard wall outlet. To protect your valuable equipment from damaging power surges and fluctuations, it's highly recommended to always use a surge protector as an intermediary. Laptops operate primarily on their internal rechargeable battery, and you can easily monitor the remaining charge by glancing at the battery icon located in the screen's taskbar. This handy battery icon serves as a quick and reliable visual indicator, updating in real time to show exactly how much power your laptop has left before needing a recharge. Let's quickly review the key essentials we've covered so far, beginning with the simple process of how to turn on your computer safely. Next, understanding the Windows operating system interface, including its familiar desktop elements like icons and the taskbar. And finally, mastering the basics of using a mouse for clicking, a touchpad for gestures, and a keyboard for typing efficiently. To build your confidence gradually, here are some practical tips for hands-on practice with your computer. Start by locating and identifying the power button on your specific computer model, whether it's a desktop tower or a laptop. Then, practice the full sequence of turning it on to see the screen light up and properly shutting it down to avoid issues. Following that, check and note the current time and date as displayed prominently on your computer's screen taskbar. Practice smoothly moving the mouse pointer around the entire screen, exploring different areas and icons as it responds. Also, try typing out a simple sentence on the keyboard, watching the letters appear correctly on the screen in a document. Repeating these small, foundational steps regularly will steadily increase your comfort and proficiency with the computer. In our upcoming next class, we will explore even deeper into advanced topics and additional computer functionalities. Before we wrap up this session, take a moment to consider what aspect you personally found most challenging today. Was it the process of turning on the computer, getting comfortable with using the mouse, or effectively navigating the desktop environment? Reflecting honestly on these specific points will allow us to customize future lessons better to address your unique needs. Thank you so much for attending and participating.